What's up, people? Back again on another Sunday for the latest episode of Single Issue Sundays. And this episode I'm going over these 4 titles plus a digital title from DC, so stay tuned. Welcome back to Chris Chats Comics. My name is Chris Gonzalez, and like I mentioned, I'm back again for another episode of Single Issue Sundays, and this is the video series where I recap and discuss my thoughts on the issues that I picked up on this previous new comic book day this past Wednesday, and you can check out what I hauled, these 4 titles and some other stuff on my Wednesday series. But again, so got 4 physical issues this week, and let's go ahead and get it started with Marvel. So this issue is the Amazing Spider-Man issue number 24, and this is actually mostly written by Charles Soule with Joe Kelly writing Spider-Man's dialogue, I'm assuming. Artwork is by Jesus Saiz. Colors are done by Matt Hollingsworth, and the letters are by Joe Caramagna. And this is part 4 of the Death Spiral crossover event with Venom and Legacy number 988. So we're getting close to 1,000. But this is honestly essentially another issue of Charles Soule, Eddie Brock Carnage run. At least that's what it felt to me. Yeah, I thought that the artwork was pretty good. I am enjoying Jesus's artwork. It's very gritty and it fits the tone that, the team is trying to tell in this event, this crossover. Yeah, so we just get flashback into Eddie Brock's relationship with his father, and his father was abusive. So it just ties into how family, it's in the blood, family's blood. So anyway, we cut back to the present. We got Eddie. He's just seen he didn't see it take place, but he saw that Torment has killed Eddie Brock's father. And then Eddie Brock lets Carnage fully take over. So I thought this was a pretty cool image. So yeah, it starts off with a fight between Torment and Carnage, and I thought that it ended pretty quick because Torment has Shocker's gauntlets, so these sonic effects, symbiotes, and the symbiotes are that's one of their weaknesses is high pitch sound. So Torment knocks out Eddie, and then we cut back to Spider-Man and Venom. This part probably written by Joe Kelly, and I'm not really feeling this part of the story. Again, I'm not a fan of Mary Jane being Venom, and I haven't really read Al Ewing's run, but I kind of, to me, those were the weakest point. That was the weakest part of this issue, was the Spider-Man and Venom, which is a shame, but there's stuff in Joe Kelly's run that I am definitely interested in, like this subplot involving his friends. So we catch back up with Brian, and he's kind of having either a dream about these mini mushroom people that look like Groot. So kind of creepy image right there. They're all going in his mouth, but yeah, so I'm interested to seeing his subplot, and if you've seen the recent solicitations for upcoming months, it's pretty obvious that Brian's going to become the next villain. So, but it's not really surprising, but I'm interested. I'm still interested in that subplot. So we cut back to Spider-Man and Venom. They go to Eddie's dad's house, and they just miss the fight between Torment and Carnage. And then we see that Carnage is back up again looking for Torment, and just intercuts between flashbacks of Eddie with his father. So Definitely, this you can tell Charles Soule wrote this part, but I'm definitely interested this plot with Eddie and Carnage and how Carnage was able to communicate with Torment, and I'm still intrigued about Torment's motivations. Why is he targeting the families of Eddie Brock, Peter, and MJ? But Carnage is going on a rampage trying to find Torment, and there's some collateral damage where Spider-Man and Venom have to, prevent this tower from falling on people, and they catch up with Carnage. And again, the dialogue, some of Joe Kelly's humor just does not work for me, so there are a lot of jokes between Spider-Man and Venom that I just didn't find that funny. But so they're trying to figure out what's going on with Carnage, and then eventually, since Peter has the ability to track the Shocker gauntlets, they find Torment, and I thought this was, again, cool visual. So this is the first time they're all meeting up, and apparently Torment has a previous relationship with Carnage, and Carnage betrays Spider-Man and Venom and subdues them, and it looks like Carnage is fully taken over. So Eddie's been knocked out this whole time. So what does that mean? I definitely thought this was an intriguing issue. I'm still interested in the crossover. It's getting better. But yeah, that was Amazing Spider-Man issue number 24, aka Eddie Brock Carnage issue number 11. So the next title I'm going over, and this is from Image Comics, this is Battle Beast. This is issue number 7, and it's back after, it's been a few months since the last issue, but it's back with a new arc, and it's technically like a continuation of the last issue. So it's still one kind of big arc, but it's written by Robert Kirkman. Ryan Ottley does the artwork. Colors are by Annalisa Leone, and the letters are done by Russ Wooten. And yeah, just right away, the colors by Leone really stand out. They're very vibrant, and just it makes this world that they're in, very alien, and I really appreciated that. So we start off, again, pretty much continuing straight after the events of the last issue, where Battle Beast and the Juggernaut was taking over the, Prince Salaka's planet, and they had a fight which Battle Beast almost won. So before she got defeated, the Juggernaut knocked Battle Beast, so he couldn't finish his last blow. So this picks up right after this, and okay, so there's immediately the second page of this comic. It's kind of graphic, but it really shocked me, and it involves Prince Salaka and his private parts. That's all I'm gonna say, and I can't believe Robert Kirkman and the team done that. And yeah, I'm not gonna show it because even though they're like alien parts, I don't know if I'll get demonetized. But yeah, it was just very interesting way to start off an issue, and I don't know how I feel about it, to be honest. But we later on, the AI for the ship that Battle Beast and Salaka were on is now been transferred to this robot body that Salaka was in. But again, Salaka, his body has, it grew back. So they're having a conversation about giving the AI a name, since she has a body and Salaka feels that you have a body, you're pretty much sentient, just come up with a name for you. And they wind up on Zula. So this is the name of the new AI, and she uses projectors to create a face. So yeah, so she's a feminine robot now, and I feel like, knowing this book and just how crazy it just went, I feel like Sokka is gonna end up fucking the robot. So they're like, Robert Kirkman, he like laid little hints of that. So I thought that was funny. But anyway, we cut back to the castle that the Juggernaut took over. We still have some citizens that are under, her control, and they're trying to rise up against her since she's vulnerable now. And so she comes back after her fight with Battle Beast, and the old man, I guess he's a shaman or a wizard, tries to use his magic to fight and defeats the Juggernaut, but it does not end up working. She just devours him. So, and then we cut to the Viltrumites. We catch up with them briefly, and we're getting hints of, if you've read Invincible, you know that Conquest is going to be joining the fray now. So I'm really looking forward to that. And yeah, so Sokka and Zula, they go back to the witches' huts that they were in the previous arc, and they find that Battle Beast is there as well. So he's healing up from his fight with the Juggernaut, and then Prince Sokka tries to and then, well, it cuts back, like it jumps forward a little bit. Battle Beast is all healed now, but now he's getting bored. He wants to leave the planet, but Sokka is trying to convince him that he needs to stay to, end the regime of the Juggernaut and free his people. So he essentially does that, and then we cut back to the Juggernaut. She is, just got done eating somebody, and she gets a notification or an alert that a ship has arrived from long ago, and she goes to see who's on the ship, and it happens to be her brother, because found out after rereading issue 6, her brother, the Colossus, and this is the first enemy that Battle Beast defeated back in issue 1. He is back. He has regrown his body, and now him and his sister are going to team up to probably fight Battle Beast. So that was pretty much it. So even though I think this is... some of Kirkman's writing in this didn't really work for me. There were some very outlandish moments, to say the least. But yeah, this was actually my least favorite issue so far. But I'm still excited to have this back. I feel like Ryan Ottley, he's doing his best work in this. Loving the colors, just loving the world building. And it's just a fun series. Even though one of the weaker issues, I still had a good time, and I'm still recommending Battle Beast. And that was issue number 7. And now we go to DC with their Vertigo imprints. We got End of Life. This is issue number 2. And this is written by Kyle Starks. Art is by Steve Pugh. The colors are done by Chris O'Halloran. And the letters are by Becca Carey. And I really enjoyed issue number 1, and I enjoyed issue number 2. I'm digging this story. Humor, again, Kyle Starks, I haven't read too much from him, but I'm enjoying his humor. Kind of reminds me of a little bit of James Gunn, that kind of vibe. So issue 2 starts off with the menagerie, the group of assassins that our protagonist, Eddie Stallion, he robbed from one of their houses, and now he's on the run. The head of the person he robbed is the Raven, who is this guy right here, and he has sent assassins to various places to find Eddie. They can't find him yet, and I just thought this part was pretty funny, because this guy went to Eddie's house, and this is like a callback from issue 1 where Eddie's handler was like pretty much talking shit about Eddie's shoe collection, and I thought this part was pretty funny. So they're looking for Eddie, and then we cut back to Eddie again. He's in this small town called Pluto. He is at his dad's house. His dad has cancer, and they don't have a good relationship. So again, more fun banter, and I liked his interactions with the owner of this gas station, this woman and her son, and Eddie just finds the son just really annoying. And I thought, again, I'm enjoying the humor more. So here we go back to the handler, and Eddie suggests, like, hey, what if I just give all the stuff that we stole back to the menagerie? Will they call off the bounty? And his handler is like, well, it won't hurt. So he calls up the Murder Brothers, the people he teamed up with in issue 1, and he tells them to come to Pluto and to, you know, get the stuff back. But meanwhile, they go to this farmer's market, and it's just, I like how they build out this little town. Eddie's father just points out to Eddie all the different people living there and what their occupation is. Eddie's being a dick the whole time. But I like the world building. They're fleshing out the town, and I really enjoyed that part. And again, loving the artwork by Steve Pugh. It fits the tone of this book, this zany, action heavy series. So, and it just reminds me of like an outlandish 80s movie, to be honest, but really digging the artwork. And I just like the character moments between, you know, Eddie, his father, and the people of this town. So eventually, you know, Eddie, he meets up with this girl, Sophie, his childhood friend, and he liked her, and they have a conversation about Eddie's father, and Eddie just thinks his father's full of shit. But I'm loving the coloring too as well. Chris O'Halloran really dug that, just how he emphasized Eddie's eyes with the yellow. Thought that was cool. So Eddie storms off. He goes on to meet with the Murder Brothers by the gas station, and the Murder Brothers join. This guy, his name is Little John. He was supposed to be on the team originally, and then he couldn't go, and then that's how they hired Eddie. And Eddie has a sly comment about it, that how essentially that ruined his life. So I thought that was pretty funny. But yeah, so they go out to the woods, and the Murder Brothers trick Eddie, and they're pretty much going to kill him and collect his bounty, because they really don't like him that well. So they're just manipulating him the whole time. But Eddie is, even though he comes off as a dimwit, he is a badass. He kills all of them. And he's essentially John Wick, but look at the cool. I just like the artwork. Love that panel right there. Again, Chris O'Halloran, loving the yellow right there. Just really cool. And so yeah, and Eddie comes back, and there's the two guys from the last issue that were harassing the gas station owner. They came back, but Eddie doesn't want to deal with their bullshit, so he tells them to fuck off, essentially. And then, again, loving the artwork. But then at the end, somebody from the menagerie, again, they wear like mask of all these different animals, but this guy, apparently his name is Big Cock. So he has arrived at Pluto, and he's hunting Eddie. So great ending to this issue. Again, I'm really finding this series fun. I liked it better on a reread. Definitely issue 1 and issue 2. So it's a fun series. Definitely recommend. End of Life. That was issue number 2. And the last physical issue I'm going to go over is, again, from DC, and this is Deathstroke the Terminator, and this is issue number 1, and this is the new line of Next Level books, the phase 2 of the All-In initiative from DC. And this is my first ever Deathstroke series that I'm going to be reading. I've never read, I know this character from the Teen Titans cartoon show, the 2003 Cartoon Network show, and obviously Judas Contract, that's Arc from Marv Wolfman and George Perez, classic, and he's shown up in different titles, different like Batman. But yeah, this is my first Deathstroke series, so this is written by Tony Fleece, or Fleeks. Again, forgive me if I mispronounced your name, Tony. But the artwork's done by Carmine Di Giandomenico, and the colors are by Ivan Palencia, and the letters are done by Wes Abbott. So Carmine, I know his work from, he did some sequences in Philip Kennedy Johnson's Batman and Robin run. He did some issues for Jerry B. Adams' Green Lantern run. He did a couple issues that I really liked, and he did some work on Absolute Superman. So he's been like a great utility player for Sports Reference. Baseball fans out there, you'll get it. But he's a great utility player for DC, and I'm glad he's finally getting his own series to show off his work, because it's really good. So we start off with, this is Wintergreen. He is like Deathstroke's Alfred, essentially, and he's speaking with one of Deathstroke's children. I don't know her name, but her code name is Ravenger. So they're just having a conversation about how to deal with Slade Wilson, and how he's nothing but, his daughter thinks he's nothing but a killer. And Wintergreen, he's just telling her like, hey, you need to watch over him, because I'm getting old, he's getting old, I'm not going to be here forever, so mend your relationship with Slade. So, but the artwork, really beautiful, dope, double page spread. So this issue is pretty much just setting up his relationship with Wintergreen. Slade's on a mission, he's got to take out this facility, and again, the artwork was really, really great. And it's just, Wintergreen is also telling Slade like, hey, you should talk to your daughter, you guys need to talk. And Slade is just, not listening to Wintergreen, and just telling Wintergreen to focus on the mission. What do we got? So I just thought, again, nothing too crazy, but amazing. Again, look, amazing double page spreads in this issue number 1, and just, it was very action packed, and the pacing was really great for issue 1. It was just on go. So I really, for this type of book, it's really set the tone really well, and what we should expect from this series. And we're going to get an action-packed story with some character moments, and I feel like, of the little things that I read from Tony, I feel like he'll do a great job doing that. So again, cool artwork. I love that panel right there where Slade, he's coming out of the smoke from the explosions. Again, he fights all these foot soldiers, and to get to this base, or this facility, and it goes over, gives a little idea, again, if you haven't read Deathstroke, a little bit of his backstory about how he was a soldier, trained from the beginning. He has a dysfunctional relationship with his family, and yeah, so going to be that's some of the issues we're probably going to be dealing with in this story. So, but again, he's fighting through these guys, and he comes up against the body doubles, these two women. Again, I'm not familiar with these characters, so let me know in the comics if you know more about them. But this part, I was kind of like, didn't really enjoy their characters. They're, for what the tone that was established in the, like, prior to this part, I just felt like it was kind of off-putting. Not in like a bad way, just it was kind of jarring, because I didn't feel like it would get this goofy. But who knows, we might have some humorous moments in this book. So, but Slade, he fights the body doubles, and it's pretty gruesome. Like, he gets stabbed a bunch. But apparently they have healing powers, and he takes them out. So he gets into this facility to find his, target, and it's revealed that Wintergreen has been killed, his butler, and he's distraught. And so this left me with a lot of questions, like, so who was Wintergreen actually talking to him the whole time? Who's, was somebody pretending to be Wintergreen? So I thought that part was pretty fascinating, and it's revealed that all of his bank accounts have been drained. All of his money is gone. One of his best friends has been killed, and I thought this part was pretty cool. So some people show up more soldiers show up, and he uses Wintergreen as a fucking meat shield. So there's some gnarly parts. So essentially, we ends with Slade about to face this horde of soldiers, and will he escape? Most likely he will. But I thought this was great. Issue number 1, very fun, action-packed, pacing was very fast. It was a fun, fast read. Some interesting character moments between Slade and his butler, or his partner, Wintergreen. And I'm intrigued about the mystery, like what's going on, who has done this, who has set Slade up. So I recommend Deathstroke the Terminator, issue number 1. And the last issue that I'm going to be going over is the only digital issue that I read this week, and it's Nightwing, issue number 136. And this is written by Dan Waters, and we got a new main artist for this new arcs going forward. Dexter Soy has left the book, but we got pencils by Dennis Cowan, and he is inked by Norm Rapmoons. Again, let me know how I should pronounce your name, Norm. But the colors are by Francesco Segala, and the letters are once again done by Wes Abbott. So in this issue, it's sometime after the last arc with the Zanny. Parts of Bloodhaven were destroyed because of what the Zanny did in the 5th dimension. So Bloodhaven's rebuilding. There's a new mayor, and I forgot his name. It starts with a B, but based on what happened the last issue, 135, it seems like he has some nefarious plans with Bloodhaven. But anyway, it starts with the artwork. First of all, is great. I think it fits the tone of Waters' script, and it fits Dan Waters' run overall. So compared to Tom Taylor and Bruno Redondo's run, where it was like bright colors and a more cartoonish and just a lighter art style, compared to this run has been more gritty and darker. So I think it's a nice juxtaposition. So Dennis Cowan, I felt like the artwork and his inking by Norm was great. It fits the dark tone, and there was a lot of mystical and supernatural elements in this that's been in this run, especially in the first this arc and the previous arc. So I feel like Dan Waters, he's diving into that more, which is interesting. But this issue was just okay to me. The story there were some plot holes where this super highway has been built in the middle of Bloodhaven, and there's been like over 30 deaths so far, and Nightwing's trying to investigate what's going on. But this is a massive highway. Like, a highway this massive should take like years to build, but like some time has passed, but it's not to build this massive highway. It wouldn't have taken, unless they got like 24-hour construction crews, multiple crews just working on this thing. But anyway, there's this massive highway, there's a lot of deaths going on, and Nightwing, he wants to investigate, so he takes out his like Dodge Charger, Challenger out, and he goes driving on this freeway, and that's pretty much the whole issue. And then he comes across this woman who looks really disheveled, and he just like, hey, you need a ride? Come in my car, random woman. So he picks this woman up, and he has awkward conversations with her about, people walking alone, and like he had told her like, oh yeah, I listened to the police radio to keep up with what's going on, and some trucker had reported that he picked up this woman who attacked him and it matched her description, and she's just kind of, something's off about this woman. She's mumbling about certain things about witches being hung at the crossroads, and Dick, he's just trying to dive deeper and get more information from her, and she ends up pulling a knife on him, and she tells him that I guess she comes from a legacy of witches that were long ago were killed in Bloodhaven, and they were buried in unmarked graves, and I'm assuming that this highway is built on those where they were buried, but not quite sure yet. But she's just essentially out. It seems like she's going to be out for revenge for all these witches being killed, and Nightwing just feels like she's having a psychotic episode, that she's due to the past trauma that she's been through, that she's having these essentially hallucinations about witches. But she's kind of scary. Like, she's crying blood out of her eyes, and it's just crazy. But Nightwing tries to pull over because he wants to take her to the hospital, but she doesn't want to go. She doesn't want to get off the freeway, so she grabs the wheel and she causes a massive pileup. And in Nightwing, it's revealed that 9 people died, and he's feeling really regretful. So he climbs out of the wreckage of his car, and he goes back. He helps some citizens on this highway. And again, he's feeling terrible about what just happened and what he could have done to prevent it. But he goes back to his car to look for the witch, and she's gone. So now he's questioning himself, like, wait, so did this really just happen, or did I just cause 9 people to die because there's something going on, something supernatural going on with this highway? So that's where the issue ends. So some of the dialogue was a little iffy on this issue, but at the end of the day, I did find it intriguing. I am enjoying Dan Waters' run, and I enjoyed Dennis Cowan's artwork. So I recommend Nightwing issue number 136. So that was it. Those were all the issues that I read this week. So let me know if you read any of those books, and let me know your thoughts in the comments, and let me know what's else on your pull list. And so yeah, that was another episode of Single Issue Sundays. So thank you for watching, and just leave a like on the video. Again, share it with your friends. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And that's where I call it a day. So my name is Chris Gonzalez. This is Chris Chats Comics, and I'm out. Peace.